Hello, everyone. We are so excited. This is our first time seeing you in 2020. Happy New Year,
In
everyone. And welcome
2021,
2021. I did say 2020, didn't
we
I?
made it. We made it.
I know. I don't want to go
Yes,
back.
we made it.
Yes, Happy New Year 2021, everyone. Welcome to the first 2021 edition of College Coaching Network Ambassador Club Live. Today, we have some really important information to talk to you about. We're going to talk about all about FAFSA. So, FAFSA has been an arch nemesis for many. It was for me. And I know the students go to school and they try to figure out how to fill it out, and they're totally clueless. I do know that a lot of money is left on the table because people don't fill out their FAFSA form. And sometimes, from what I've learned about, working with College Coaching Network, is that sometimes it's not always just about your income. There's other factors that the FAFSA can help you with. And so, as you can see on our sidebar, it says what FAFSA is. It's a free application for federal student aid, but Claude is definitely the expert on FAFSA, so I'm going to turn it over to him, and we're going to take a dive in and get some more information about FAFSA.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Happy 2021. Happy New Year to everybody. We're so excited about what we're getting ready to do with College Coaching Network this year, and we're looking to get other people involved in what we're doing because we are two people that have really laid the foundation, and I'm ready to now go to a whole nother level on what we can do. So when we talk to a lot of the families that we encounter, they are all coming to us asking questions privately. Normally I get calls about the FAFSA, what do I put on the FAFSA, how do I handle it? And I know right now a lot of people are looking for ways that they can actually kind of get plugged into maximize it. So I want to break down what FAFSA is, because some people are like, okay, what is FAFSA? So thank you for having on the sideline over there. It stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. And so the first thing is this: when you complete the FAFSA, that allows a university to know more about where you stand financially. And it's basically qualifying you two ways. The first way is they want to see, do you qualify to get need-based aid, or are you basically in a position where you don't qualify for any need-based aid, and now you need to look at maybe more endowments. So if you make too much money, still do the FAFSA. The reason why you still need to do the FAFSA is because if you ever go online and you Google like a Yale, Princeton, Harvard, Stanford, any of those schools, they have amazing, and I would challenge you, Mika, while we're talking, because I know you're a multitasker, if you could Google Duke's endowment while we're talking.
All right.
All right, I want to see how big their endowment is, because it's public data, and it's been a while since I've seen how big their endowment is. But some of their endowments are billions of dollars, and what they do when you fill out the FAFSA is, if you make, let's say as a family, you make $200,000-$300,000 a year, and you're like, I'm not going to get any federal grants, any work study, any of that stuff. And so you don't fill out the FAFSA because you know you're going to have to pay out of pocket cash. Well, what happens is when they see that you complete the FAFSA, that opens you up to get more money out their endowment. And so some of these colleges that have endowments that, like I stated, Duke, Washington University, did you find it already?
Yes, it is 8.5. Oh, do you want me to tell? It's 8.5 billion with the B, not with an M. B, 8.5 billion.
So this 8.5 billion that Mika just graciously found is the endowment of Duke, right? University, right? So 8.5 billion. I want to make sure you guys understand how the colleges make their money. So if you graduate from Duke and you're an alumni and you give back to your university because you just love, being a Blue Devil, whatever it is, they receive that money in, and that money comes into the university tax-free because it's basically a gift. You're giving a gift to that university. So they receive that in through their foundation. They take that money and they put it into investments. So they may put it into stocks, bonds, mutual funds, even hedge funds. Hedge funds are these startup companies that we see out here. Do you guys know that some of these startup companies, it could be a Google, it could have been an Airbnb, that some of those companies were invested into by the endowments of these colleges? They'll take a percentage of their money and put it into those. And so when they do that, they may make 10, 15, 30, 1,000% return on their money, and all the money that's growing in those accounts build up their endowment. And so they take money in tax-free and they invest it, and then they can possibly defer the growth on those taxes. That's a whole nother area I'm not going to go through. So I want to give a disclosure before I go any deeper. Seek legal counsel. Talk to an accountant or whoever you need to talk to before you make any final decisions. We're giving you education only. We're not giving you individual advice. I want to make sure I give you that. And I have licenses to be able to give advice, but today I'm not operating that capacity. I'm operating in the capacity from education only. So I want to make sure I say that. All right, so let's go back. When they grow these funds in their endowments, they can dictate who they want to give this extra money they have to from the growth of the endowment. And so when you fill out the FAFSA form, if your family makes too much money, you still could qualify to get 100% of your scholarships covered through the endowment. So Washington University, WashU in St. Louis is 100% school. Duke is 100% school. North Carolina, not North Carolina, but make sure another one. It's a lot of those private schools. There's another one off the top of my head. Chapel Hill. Yeah, I guess North Carolina may be 100% school. I have to double check that, make sure I'm fact finding that. But a lot of those schools, Yale, Stanford, Harvard, Princeton, all those are normally 100% schools where if you can get into those schools, you qualify for 100% of financial aid. And then from that point, you can tap into the endowment. The state schools, like I went to Pittsburgh State.
Pause, because you just said something that kind of blew over it. Because I think one of the challenges that a lot of families face is and children, especially, I heard you give a quote that about 50% of high school students are still first generation college students. That's in 2021. That's bananas. The second part of that, and what you just said, with these elite schools offering 100% tuition opportunities if the student meets a certain criteria, whether that's grades, ACT, SAT tests, the various things. But in the mentality of a lot of parents and students is, oh, we can't afford that school.
Right.
So what you just said is that no, you can, is knowing that you can.
No, and exactly.
That's the piece that I didn't want to blow over that, because I'm like, they can go there. There's opportunity. It just have to have the knowledge to know that the opportunity is there.
Yes, that it can present itself.
That's a big part of it. Yes.
You said that better than I could. And the thing that's crazy about that is this. Let's say, for example, I'm looking at, again, I'm not knocking, I graduated from Pittsburgh State, so I got much love for Pittsburgh State University. I still want to go back down there and see all the new restaurants that they have down there at Pittsburgh State area. So I digress. But let's say Pittsburgh State is $25,000 a year to go. And so I'm looking now at Washington University, which could be $60,000 a year to go to WashU. So if I'm looking at that, then I'm saying, okay, it's going to cost maybe 2 times more money for me to go to WashU than for me to go to Pittsburgh State University. But if I'm looking at the true numbers, like when you get the sticker price, that's what you see on the outside. But once you apply and get accepted, and then they send you the award letter, that's actually your specific situation. So they may offer you from Pittsburgh State, let's say $10,000 in scholarships. So if it's $25,000 to go, they're giving you $10,000 in scholarships. You're going to have to come up with $15,000 to attend Pittsburgh State, right? Mm-hmm. And so where's that $15,000 going to come from? Well, Mika, you have a daughter in school, so we know that money comes from your pocket, right?
It does. It
right?
does.
To make sure your child can go to college. And so when we say your pocket, that could be multiple ways. That could be you paying cash if you've built up the cash for that. That could be you actually now getting a state grant or a loan or whatever they may have. I should say more of a loan that's in the name of the student, right? Or they call it self-help. Or it could be you doing a Parent Plus loan, right? So loans just are off the top are not good, right? But traditionally, we see a lot of families that are going down that path. And then you look up and 3, 4, 5 years later, they've got a lot of loans that they've incurred. But let's say going back to Duke, let's say that they're 100%. So it's $65,000. You're able to get 100% of the financial aid that you need. But 95% of that money, you guys, could come from the endowment. So I want to make sure you really can understand what I'm saying. If there's $65,000 a year and you're able to have the ACT test score, you got the GPA and all the other things that come with getting into Duke, and they're willing out of 65,000 to give you maybe 58 that you don't have to pay back, that means you're only looking at a $7,000 amount that you're short, where with Pittsburgh State in this example, maybe $15,000 short. So over a 4-year period of time, if you take $7,000 times 4 years, that's 28,000 that it really costs you to go to Duke. But if you take 15,000 times 4 years, it can really actually cost you 60,000 to go to the state school that you thought was cheaper by the sticker price, right? The other thing that I want to point out is a lot of families don't understand how to look at the graduation rates. When I went to Pittsburgh State, I didn't pay attention to it, but the graduation rate was about 28% or less.
Within the 4 years.
And within 4 years, right? But if you go to Duke, about 87 to 92% of the students that go to that campus actually graduate in 4 years. So I could be taking $15,000 a year times 5 years, as opposed, because it took me 5 years to come out of Pittsburgh State. I was on that remix program, right? So, because it took me 5 years to come out of Pittsburgh, then that's another year of college costs that I would have to pay, right? So I just want to make sure you guys understand, like when you do the FAFSA, know who you are. If you're going to be a need-based person, get all the grants and all that they can give you. If you're going to be where you make too much money, we want to look at how you apply to schools that are going to allow you to get more money from the endowment than what you think. And I think you're putting out there if people have any questions, so feel free. So I'm going to do what is called a FAFSA frenzy. It's like a FAFSA frenzy is where you have all these people that come out and they're walking you through how to do the FAFSA. And so I'm going to do a small mini. So hopefully my load speed is pretty good of what's called a FAFSA Forecaster. Okay. So I am going to share my screen and I'm going to act as if I'm a family trying to complete the FAFSA form. And again, this is a tool that everybody can tap into. It's a free tool that's out there. And I can put the link out here after I'm done going through it, but it's called FAFSA Forecaster. So can you see my screen, Mika?
Yes, we need to go to the FAFSA. There we go.
All right. So here you go to FAFSA Forecaster. It's the number 4 caster, CASTER. So I'm going to go out here. And again, some of this is not the fastest because it's through federal student aid, or you can go to FAFSA.gov, FAFSA.gov to get there. But I'm going to click on there.
Been lagging quite because everybody's getting ready for this semester. So they've been busy. I know.
Yes, they have. Extremely. So let's jump through and kind of walk through this forecaster because it's going to kind of show me based upon the income that I put in here if I am a person that's going to qualify for grants from the state level or if I make too much money to qualify and I'm looking at tapping into the endowment. So let's go. Are you a U.S. citizen? And this is asking, if you see here at the top, it's asking from the perspective of a student, right? Student information. So are you a U.S. citizen? Yes, I am a U.S. citizen. Happy to be one. So we're going to click there. All right. So your date of birth. So we're just going to come up with a fictitious person. And I'm going to put that they are graduating soon. And so what is your marriage? Well, students should not be married. So I'm single. all my kids should definitely be saying single on this. And when do you plan on beginning college? So we will say that we're going to attend as a first-year college freshman. So we're going to go right there. And I think it's crazy that they asked you never attended before. Never attended first-year college freshman. I'm glad I went back and looked at that. All right, so never attended. That's kind of confusing. Never attended college first year. So if you're going back, you can answer the other way.
Pause right there, Claude, to make sure, because I know with FAFSA, there's certain times of the year you fill it out. And then usually what happens is that students kind of get thrown, tell them to fill out FAFSA while they're at school. So that question that you just asked about, have you ever attended college? So if a student takes dual credit courses, which is generally connected to a community college within their area. Would they want put that they attend college before 1 year? What would be the selection they would want to choose? Because technically they have been a college student.
That is true. Like our middle daughter is actually taking college classes too. So you still haven't been actually at the college. They classify those as like AP classes, because normally you take those as dual credit classes within the high school. So you never actually physically attended the actual university. So, but either one of these two is still going to give you the same outcome. It's just how they classify you in there. But never attended first year, because you never actually attended the college. You just took some college classes.
Courses. So I know sometimes here they attend the campus. So just wanted to make sure there was some clarity in that one.
Great question. I'm sure somebody else was thinking the same thing. So we're going to go next on to, and again, this thing does not move the FAFSA. So let me make sure that I'm clicking on here. And I think I clicked too many. So let me go back one more. All right. So if it's not going to move, so yeah, never married. Yep, never married. We did that one before. All right. So, all right. So now this is the parent. You see up here, it says the parent information. Which parent information will you be providing? So we're going to say that it's the mom. And go ahead and go out there. And so, all right, so how old is your mother? So mom is a spring chicken, so she is 40, just turned 40, let's say that. Living her best life. How many people are in your mother's household? So let's say you've got 2 siblings, so it's a total of, and it's a whole family, mother, father, and all that good stuff. So let's just say a family of 5. Are you in a college? Student include yourself? No. So here is asking if you're in college, while you are in college, how many people in your mother's household will be attending college? So if it's you and a sibling that are going to college at the same time, great, you can put 2. And what that's going to do is cut your cost in half. If it's just you, you're just going to have the number 1. So we're going to go there. And then coming over here, you're going to see information about, has your mother filed taxes recently? So I want to definitely talk about this one. So the first thing is, if you know that you are making too much money and you're talking about using the child's income and you want to make them an independent student, I'm going to tell you right now, probably not going to work out, right? We have had too many families that they know they make too much money. They're trying to get more money from the college, and they try to make the kid independent on their own. And if you're filing them on your taxes, or even if you're not, there's some rules and regulations, and they would have to be an orphan. They would have to be in the military, married, and some other things, or the age of 27, which is crazy. So 9 times out of 10, they're not going to qualify for independent student status unless there's just something that's just unforeseeable. So you want to make sure you go off the parent's tax return. Now, if the parent, I had this happen a lot, is on Social Security disability or Social Security income. Traditionally, if they got a child that's graduating from high school, they're probably going to be on Social Security disability. And let's say the Social Security disability parent has not filed their taxes. Okay. You would go here, even though FAFSA mandates that you have to file your taxes, that is pretty much it's a quiet mandatory thing that they say if you want to get federal money. You can still go no, but if your parents make more on Social Security disability than $34,000 a year and they still didn't file their taxes, they're going to have a problem. Again, legal disclosure. Go get help from legal counsel, from an accountant, someone that can go over that. I'm just giving you education today. I'm not acting as if I'm your advisor, but the rule is, if you make over $34,000 on Social Security disability, you have to file your taxes. If you make less than that, it's at your discretion, right? So I'm going to put here in this example, has your mother filed taxes recently? Yes. Now, when they do the FAFSA, they go off of your previous year tax return. So for 2020, when you file this year, for 2021, for 2020, they're not going to look at that year. They're going to look at your 2019 tax return. because they want to make sure that within the last 2 years, you haven't made any kind of major adjustments to the income to try to qualify. So if you try to make an adjustment within that first year of them going to college, they feel like you are trying to hurry up and make a change. Maybe not count as many deductions, whatever that may be. So they go off your previous year. They know what they're doing, so don't try to beat the system. So let me go here. 50,000 is the total income that we're going to throw in. And let's say the legal residence, we're in Missouri, so let's stick with that state. And then let's jump here to next. Again, we're in the parent information. So then they go here, additional student information. Have you filed a tax return? So again, seek legal counsel. I'm just giving you education only, but I'm trying to make sure I'm covering myself. But if you make $12,200 or more as a student, $12,200 or more as a student, you need to file your tax return. If you make less than $12,200 as a student, it's not mandatory that you file your tax return. But for FAFSA purposes, you need to make sure that you file if you make more than $12,200 as an individual student. So I'm going to say this, kid, most students over the summer don't make any more than probably $3,000 to $4,000 for the summer. So I'm going to put down no, they don't file. And then the income, I'm just going to put down they make $4,000 and their legal residence is the same as mom in Missouri. So that's pretty much it on that. And then we're going to go. Now you're done with the estimate for your federal. So let's go ahead and submit this. So it's just that simple, you guys. You just go in there and it's going to give you a quick snapshot. And let's see here, enter the college. Okay, that's optional. So I'm going to go here and let's put Duke. Let's put Duke in here. And how much do we think the college expenses are going to be? I think Duke is about, I'll say 60,000 for the year. So let's go here and go next. So based upon what they're telling me, I would max out or come pretty close to getting my full Pell Grant, which is $6,195 from that. And then coming down, let's see if there's anything else I would get. About $1,465 from work study. So the Pell Grant and the work study are both amounts of money that I don't have to pay back, but the direct Stafford loan, I'm gonna have to pay all that back. Okay, every bit of that. So that gives you just an idea of how that forecaster works. I think it's a great tool just to give you a quick snapshot of kind of what that looks like. So I am going to stop sharing my screen. All right. Enum, hey.
Yes. Hello. Hi.
Hi. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too.
Yeah, so we're talking about the crazy world of FAFSA. Yes. So did you do your own FAFSA or did your parents do your FAFSA? How did that happen for you?
So I actually did not do FAFSA. It was because when I first came to the US, I came as an international student. So I did not qualify for FAFSA. So I did not have to do FAFSA. But over the course of my career, I've learned a lot about FAFSA and how complicated it can get. And, you know, as you said, Claude, this is great that Claude is walking through this with you because a lot of people don't have that advantage that you go in, you're pretty much by yourself trying to figure out some of these things. So it's great that you're able to get this from you.
That's cool.
But I did have one question, or I guess clarification. You mentioned if you made, I think it was 12,400 as an independent student, you have to file taxes. Do you file that on your own, not as a dependent of your parents, correct?
Traditionally, they say you still do it as a dependent, but again, seek legal counsel before you do that, because if your parents are still claiming you, then you still are a dependent, and you just have to classify that you earn income. And traditionally, your standard deduction is pretty much going to wipe. You know, the individual standard deduction is like $12,400, so that's pretty much going to wipe out, you know, your tax obligation, but they still want to see that you made money. on the FAFSA form. So those are just some things that you want to take into consideration. That FAFSA Forecaster doesn't break down a lot of the other information that they ask you on the FAFSA form. So I just want to throw out 2 or 3 quick tips on that. Number one is do not put down your 401k as an asset in the asset section of the FAFSA, because they don't mandate that you put that down. The government doesn't require that you take money out of your 401k to pay for your kids to go to college. If your son or your daughter has money in their bank account, grandma, grandpa is looking to give them some money, what have you, and they put money in their name, that could hurt you from getting financial aid, because that is under the asset protection allowance. And basically for the students that are going to college, there's no asset protection allowance at all. So every dollar that you have in liquid assets, the school mandates that you're going to have to use that money towards college expenses. And so what we want to do is make sure that you put those funds either in an account that's in the name of the parent, so it doesn't ding or take away from your ability to get financial aid, or you try to put it into some kind of, and I'm not even saying a 529, I'm saying some kind of Roth or some kind of retirement investment account that can actually shield you from putting that asset down on that FAFSA form, because once you put it down, that now is going to get counted against you, and you can possibly have to pay more money towards financial aid. I don't want to go too deep into the weeds because I can go there, especially when we start talking about numbers. So I'm going to come up for air. I'm going to come up for air and just kind of say this, and then I'll open it up for any questions or just comments you guys have. When it comes to planning for college, it's not an easy task. We've talked to a lot of school counselors. I think we talked to probably 5 or 6 of them just today. And they're from all over the country, from South Carolina to Georgia to wherever, right? Alaska, right? And the list goes on. These school counselors, a lot of them that we talk to, they really love the kids. They really want to do the best that they can to help these kids and give them opportunity. And how do I know that? Because I'm not just talking to them about pitching our product. In some conversations, I'm asking them, why did you take the job as a school counselor? And I've heard this from countless school counselors that really have passion. They're saying, when I was in high school, I was a first generation high school student, and I didn't know what I didn't know. My parents didn't know it. And I wanted to make sure that I could be a voice that can help other people that represented who I used to be, so they would have an opportunity to go to somebody that understands how they feel and not just classifying that person as another number. Oh, here comes another student. Now, this is a real person that wants to do something positive with their life, and getting education can change and break that poverty cycle in that family, right? So they want to make a difference. But at the same time, some of them have 200, 300, 400. In one situation, we talked to one school counselor, they had 2,800 students assigned to that one school counselor.
Wow.
That's not normal. That is definitely not normal, right? But they want to bring additional resources to their students. So I'm telling you, for the schools that may be looking at this live stream right now, thank your school for investing in this platform, that we can basically say some of the things that they don't have the time to say, or they may have said it and you didn't hear it. So now we're saying it again, right? So we want to help make sure that you guys understand how important this information is. And then the last thing that I'll say is, when you go out there, and if you feel like the FAFSA is too overwhelming, or you feel like, I feel like I'm double talking here. If you feel like the FAFSA is too overwhelming, or you feel like you're not getting the support, like you ask your parents, and maybe your parents are so busy, or because everybody's coming from different households, ask for help. Go to your school counselor. Connect to us here at College Coaching Network. Don't do this by yourself, okay? Because if you mess up on this FAFSA form and they see it at that university, once they put their eyes on those forms, you now got to go through a whole nother process called the appeals process. And that's a process you do not want to sign up for. I'm telling you that right now. So I'll open it up to you guys if you guys got any final questions, comments, or what have you.
I think that was a great point that you just made about making sure that students don't go at it alone, because I know that I remember back when I was in high school, and when my daughter started this process, they told them about FAFSA and they pulled it up at school, and she looked at it and she was like, she texted me and was like, Mom, they're asking for like your tax information, and she didn't know what to do. So she came home and we had the conversation and worked through it together. But it is one of those things that students don't have the knowledge to get through this. So us having this conversation, I think is critical, because this is where this is one of those kind of starting points that students need to be able to start the process of applying and going to college, because money is a factor. It is definitely a factor.
A huge factor.
A huge factor. Because I know a lot of students have their school like, oh, this is a school I want to go to. And, sometimes going to a local community college to do your basic studies and then going to the next college may be the right choice for you and your family. Sometimes it may be taking the route of, filling out multiple schools and kind of seeing based on your FAFSA what school is going to be the most cost effective. But like, to me, this is one of those kind of phase one steps. So you can get ground level, find out where you are, and be able to make the appropriate decision for you and your family, because cost is definitely a factor,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I completely agree with what Mika said. This is like the first level conversation you have with your parents about college. Fill this out. It gives you a good idea of how much they have to invest, how much you get from the schools. If you need to do a summer job, how many summer jobs you need to do, So this is like a very good first step to get a sense of how much that dream college costs, and if your family can do it and how your family can do it. But as Claude said, reach out. You have resources. Use them. Ask questions. Reach out to us, to your guidance counselors on campus. So use those resources, because this can get complicated, and you want to make sure that you have all the information you need to fill it out correctly.
Yes.
Yes. Well, hey, we want to thank you guys for coming out. Another Ambassador Club. We have some amazing things coming down the pipeline. One thing I do want to share with you in conclusion, we're starting an advisory board with our youth. So we have some people that are picked out, but we're still looking for about 1 or 2 more individuals that really want to do some community-based projects. And so we're going to have an adult advisory board, and they're going to work directly with our youth advisory board to do a lot of community-based projects. And so if you want to do some things to give back to the local community that you live in, reach out to us. And if you're part of College Coaching Network, we can Yes. Hit us up in the app or chat with us in the app. And we will definitely talk to you about how you can get involved. We're going to be doing a meet and greet here soon with all the people that are on the advisory board. And we can talk to you guys at that meeting about what we're going to do moving forward with our meeting times and things of that sort. So Happy New Year to everybody. 2021, we want to make it an amazing year. I think there's already some things that are happening. And I think we have all showed how tough we are, because we are still here from 2020. So definitely appreciate you all.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.